Hello, hello, friends. It's Dion at the Blushing Mint. I am going to just continue working through the signatures of my next new journal and or journals because I may end up doing this as a double signature journal, or I may just do a couple single signature journals. Sometimes I feel like people may be overwhelmed if the journal is too large, whereas like a smaller 40 or 50 page journal seems a little bit more useful, I guess, so to speak. And so I may just end up doing single signature journals. But anyway, regardless, I'm going to continue going through this journal. And so all I've done up to this point is I put my signature pages together. I've added my pockets. I've got a flip here. These will be flip outs here. And then I've got another flip out over here, or maybe a pocket. I'm not sure. There's some embellishments that I need to make. I need to make some belly bands. I need to make an envelope. And so there's just lots of things to do to get this journal ready. And so I'm just going to bring you guys along with my thought process. And I hope that maybe you learn something, or if not, I'm just keeping you company while you're crafting. And to me, that's like the coolest thing ever, is to know that I'm out there helping somebody else get through their day. So anyway, thanks for tagging along with me. Thanks for being here. And I look forward to seeing where this journal takes us. And as always, I love when you share your craft projects with me. I love to see what you guys are doing. So one of the first things that I was thinking when I was flipping through this is this music paper is antique music paper, guys. And so I grabbed my masking tape, and I want to go along and I want to mask the folds of this paper, because I can guarantee that it will rip when it gets sewn into the signatures. So I just want to avoid that at all possible. So I'm just going to grab my masking tape here, and I am going to masking tape down the center on both sides of this paper. And that just strengthens it up and make sure that it's going to stay intact in our journal, because that matters. We don't want our journal pages falling apart, especially when we're selling. Well, like for me, I sell them and I gift them, and that is the last thing I want to have happen to one of my journal recipients. So I like to make sure that things are well adhered and that they don't fall apart. Now, with time and use, there's no way of being 100% positive that something's not going to happen, but you know what? I give it my best college try before it ever goes out the door. So I'm going to do that. And then, because I am doing a pocket here, I'm actually going to go in this, just where the fold of the pocket is on the inside. I'm actually going to go tape that as well, and that's going to give me some structure over that fold. And then I'm also going to tape on the inside, right at the base, where that is going to be like the It's the edge of the top of the pocket, and that is going to get a lot of wear and tear. And so this is going to provide another layer of stability for this pocket during its lifetime. And so the more I can do to help it along and to prolong its life, the better, in my opinion. So that's what I'm going to do here. I just want to make sure everything is reinforced good. And so yeah, so that's one of the things I'm going to do right up front. I like to get all these things done before I get too supercharged into the journal, because then I could forget, and I don't want to forget to do something so very important as that. Just recrease them along that fold line there. Grab my bone folder. Now that masking tape has made it extra sturdy in there, so then where those pockets are. And now if I have to do any trimming because of the bulk that's now in the center here, what I can do is I'm actually going to cut down the center of these pockets, because that's going to take the bulk out of where I have to sew. I'll show this to you. Give me a second. And I'm going to cut these pockets just slightly at an angle right to that center line. And basically, you can't see it so well, but they're not going to end up getting sewn into that center. But yet they still form a full pocket, and it takes that bulk out. But we wanted to tape there because we want to keep those edges nicely reinforced. So you're just taking the smallest sliver out right to an angle down at the bottom. Into that center fold. Okay, and you can barely, I might need to go a little deeper here on this one, it looks like. We're just taking bulk out, guys. That's all we're doing, because that tape really bulks that up. All right, there we go. Now we're just away from our center. They're going to fold up nice. And then our pocket is still nice and even on the edges. And it eliminated a bunch of bulk out of that center for us. So yeah, and then once we get these in, then we'll glue up our sides and all of that. But yeah, perfect. So I want to get that one done. And then I also want to do that very same thing as far as, because the Edith Holden pages are exactly the same way. They are, they're older pages, and they are very likely to tear or rip, especially with that constant use in the center of a journal. So we want to just make sure that we're really reinforcing these edges. And this masking tape, it blends nicely, and I think it works perfect on these pages. So I like to do that here. And masking tape is cheap. You find it in the painters section at like Walmart, and I think it's like 98 cents. I don't know. It was pretty cheap the last time I bought it. Now, mind you, that might have been before or after the last rounds of inventory increasing, but it's not expensive, and it goes a long ways. You'll have it forever. Heck, check your junk drawer. We probably still have some in our junk drawers from years gone by. So anyway, and then again, just refold that at the center line. And use your bone folder to really give it a good creasing. All right, and then that's going to go back into our center. Okay, so now that we've got those things done, now it's a matter of looking through and kind of seeing, where do we want pockets? Where do we want tucks? Do we want to add any coffee staining or anything like that to our really white pages? This is very, very creamy vanilla paper. It's not really white paper. So even on our whitest page, you can see a little definition between the difference in colors. So this is where you decide if that is, if you really want to do any dyeing with these. And I think I may, on this paper here, add a little coffee spray here. So I just have coffee in a little spray bottle here with in this size bottle, just a capful of alcohol, rubbing alcohol. And what the rubbing alcohol does is it allows it so that the coffee doesn't go rancid. And so you just put a little bit of dark coffee in a spray bottle, put a capful of rubbing alcohol in there, and then your coffee will stay fresh and not go rancid or mold or anything like that. So it keeps much longer. Now I'm just using my quick heat it craft tool, and I'm just going to dry this off a little bit. And basically all this is doing is taking that stark white from the page and turning it a little bit more creamy vanilla-y color. That's going to coordinate, in my opinion, more with the journal than the stark white. So that's all I'm going to do here and dry this off. And it just, you know, it's just, to me, another layer of character. That's all it is. Everything that we do is just creating the character of our journal. Okay, then I have my trusty what is this? Straightener. See, I don't even know the right word for it. It's a paper iron for me, but it's a hair straightener. That's really what it is. See, I don't even know. And so now, yeah, you've got this nice creamy looking vanilla background that comes away from there. I like it. And then I definitely have to do the back of this paper because it is way, way too white for me. I wasn't sure. I thought I might get away without it, but yeah, no. Yeah, no, friends. Yes, no, no, it does not work. Okay, get a little heat tool here. So yeah, so anyway, so what's going on in everybody's world? Gorgeous, gorgeous Montana day today. Today is actually Sunday. Hey, you know what day it is? Maybeth Seidlitz. She is a subscriber. She's going to see this late, but hey, happy birthday to Maybeth Seidlitz. She is a subscriber of our channel. And so it is her happiest birthday. And my friend, welcome back to Montana. I hope your road trip was uneventful. But welcome back. And happiest birthdays to her. So yeah, so today is Sunday, like April 30th then is going to be the date when I'm actually filming this. My poor husband is working and I'm playing. It does not seem right at all. But that is how it works in our world. But it is, and it does. And it's what has to be done. So yes, but I have my plan for dinner for the night. I'm gonna do pork chops and boiled potatoes and corn on the cob. So I'm excited about that. And yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy that we're in May. It doesn't feel like we're getting ready to go into May because our weather here in Montana has been, we have had the longest winter. So there's been absolutely no spring to this point. And so it doesn't feel possible that we have that, like, May is here. It seems very, very unreal. Okay, so now that I have my pages good, let's see what we want to put where. Okay. Now over here, I have folded down this flap because these were a little too these pages were a little too wide, and I'm going to leave them folded down, but I'm going to just go ahead, and they're not really big enough to make a tuck with, so I'm just going to take my art glitter glue. Let's hope that it's going to work today, and I am just going to glue these edges down here because we don't need them, and it's not going to change anything. It's not going to do anything. I may do a side tuck or something like that right over the top of those. So I'm going to get those glued down. And my dog, Cooper Reed, for those of you who may be new and haven't known that, my dog is a rescue dog. He is a full-blood beagle, and but I did rescue him. And so but he is a special boy, let me tell you. But he is outside lounging in the sun, sunbathing on top of the hot tub. That is his favorite place to sunbathe in the morning because it's kind of cool in the mornings, and so he gets the heat from the hot tub, but he gets the sun from on top, and he just loves to live on top of the hot tub. So that's where he is at right now. He's just living his best life in there outside. All right, now here, I may, because I did fold these in a little bigger than I did the last ones, so I may go ahead and make these side tucks. So I'm going to take my little paper punch and let's find our center. So if it's 8.5, that makes it 4 3/4, which is here and here. No, that is so wrong. 8.5. God, you guys, man, did you all catch that? It's 8 3/4. No, it's not. It's 4.5. 8.5 is 4 1/4. I need coffee and Coke or something. Coffee, a Coke, both. I don't know. I need something because, man, that was terrible. I mean, I know I hate math, but even for me, that was bad. So I'm just going to cut these at make my little thumb holes there. Show that these are pockets. And then I'm gonna use a little distress ink in here. Not a lot, because I don't know that I want this to be a super duper grungy, distressed look. I don't know that that's what I'm looking for with this paper. I feel like the colors of the papers are, I don't know, I might just let them kind of speak for themselves, but I do want to at least show that those are pockets there. And so then I'm just going to go ahead and glue right on the edges of the top and the bottom here to create that tuck. And I am using my art glitter glue, so it dries like immediately, and it's wonderful and fantastic. And guys, I have been creating a Amazon list of all of my favorite journal products that are available on Amazon. And so at some point I will try to remember to link that onto my YouTube channel so you guys can go find those favorite items. All right. Now, okay, so that goes there. So now we've created those tucks. Remember, the one thing with art glitter glue is you have to keep the pin in the top of it so that it does not form a clog, because it clogs quite easily. Now, I'm going to leave these to flap open. I may do a envelope. I'm feeling like maybe an envelope inside our journal. I'm not quite sure. So I know I want to make an envelope. I don't know if I have, I'm going to pause you for a second and I'm going to go see if I have a magnolia napkin. Okay, I went to my napkin stash and lo and behold, I thought I had some magnolia napkins. So I have a black and white napkin that has a magnolia on it. I have this beautiful creamy napkin that has the magnolia. And this other page here has like herbs and stuff on it. And I found an herb napkin. And so I am going to keep all of these at the ready because I can like just cut a couple of these out and I can decoupage them onto a paper as some added interest or whatever. But I'm going to create an envelope. Before to end this video, I am going to create an envelope with you all. Hopefully I have time. It gives me about 15 minutes, so I'm going to hope I can get it done. So I found a large envelope here. It's too long for my journal, so I need to cut it down. This is 9.5, and so I need to cut at least a 1/2 inch off of each side because I want to keep my center. So I'm going to cut at least 1/2 inch off of each side. Let's see. That's upside down. I haven't used this paper cutter in a while, so bear with me here. Yep, I was thinking that might happen. I couldn't remember why I set this paper cutter back to begin with, and maybe it's because I need new blades. I don't know. Let's try this again. But I do think that's the issue. I think it needs new blades. And I don't know if I have any. Looking over in my stash and I don't. So it'll probably go back where it came from. But it will work for now. Okay, so now we have an open envelope, which is just perfectly fine. So when I do my envelopes, the first thing I do is I coffee dye them. So I'm getting out my coffee here. Gonna spray this down real quick. Don't really need to worry about the inside so much. And I'm gonna get my handy dandy craft tool here. Spray this dry, and then I'm going to get out some Distress Oxide sprays. And I think I'm going to do peeled paint. Rustic Wilderness maybe, and our Shabby Shutters Oxide. And these are going to be the colors that we're going to use on our envelope. Okay. All right, so now what I'm going to do is, and it's going to be hard for you to see because, oh, nope, I do have a piece of paper here, and I'm going to just lay down a couple sprays of this peeled paint, and this is distressed spray stain. I'm going to add some water to that to make it go a little further, and then I'm just going to dip parts of my envelope into that ink and pick it up off of that paper. And it's going to add this beautiful color to our envelope. And we're going to get our little cute craft tool and we're going to dry this off. And it always dries lighter than it pulls. So when it comes onto the paper, it always looks much darker than it actually is going to be when it dries. So don't be afraid. Do not be afraid of what it looks like. And the beauty of it is it's water-based, so we could always go back and spray it with some water and tone it down even more. And there's always gesso, friends. We always can pull out our gesso and cut that back, that color back even more through our using gesso. So okay. So there is that, and I'm loving that color. I'm actually going to take our Shabby Shutters Oxide Spray now, and I'm actually going to go straight onto our envelope with this Shabby Shutters, just kind of concentrating on the areas where it's not super colored. Okay. And then I'm going to grab my tool here. I'm going to dry this a bit. I love these colors, and just look. With that paper, oh, so pretty. All right, now with the distressed oxide, just like I've talked about in my other videos, oxide reacts with water. So we're going to add water to that and get some oxidation happening. And before I do that, I am going to take my art, and you can see that because this envelope has, because I cut it apart, it's kind of starting to peel up here, and the more water I add, the more it's going to come apart. So I want to just add an extra layer of some glue in here to make sure that those all just stay laid down flat. I don't want to have to completely glue my envelope as I go. So, okay. So now I'm going to just hit this with some water and watch what's going to happen here. And the more water you hit it with and the longer you let it sit, the more oxidation happens in that Shabby Shutter's lightest green color. And I love it. It's perfect. I love it. And I am going to hit also with a bit more coffee, which is water-based, so it's not going to harm that oxidation process at all. Grab my little heat tool and start to dry that off a bit. And I think I like those colors, so I'm just going to go ahead and put these back in my drawer. Okay, and then I'm going to pull out a text stamp. Yep, I think that one will be fine. And we are going to do some light text stamping on this next. I'm going to pause you while I dry this because I don't want this video to be forever and a day. So hold the phone. I'll be right back. Okay, friends, I've gone ahead and I've dried that, and now you can see that this is what our envelope is looking like currently. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this text stamp, and this is just a silicone text stamp that's super cheap that I got off of Wish or someplace like that. And I do not put it on a stamp block or anything. I like the free form feeling of being able to mold it however. And I am taking an acid-free permanent waterproof ink pad to do this with because as I decoupage, that's going to be adding liquid. And I don't want that ink to smear, so I want a good finish. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to lightly tap this ink onto my stamp, and then I'm going to come over and I'm just going to randomly stamp. It doesn't need to be perfect. I don't need to read any of it. I don't need to see any of it, really. It's just texture. This is just texture. That's all we're doing, is creating more texture within our projects. The one thing that I do want to make sure is that if it is, if you are very worried about directional or anything like that, then make sure that you're stamping directionally on your flaps and things like that. So if you are worried about that, by all means, please pay attention to that. And if you're not, then you do you, boo. So yeah, and it doesn't, we don't need to fill the whole page. We're just adding it because it's going to get, there's going to be more things. Okay, so now we've got that stamped, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put that back. I'm going to run my dryer over it just to make sure that that ink is dried before I do our next phase, which is going to be our decoupage. So I'm going to go ahead and pause you while I grab all my decoupage supplies, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I now have my decoupage glue, which I mix 2 parts glue with 1 part water, and then I have a little silicone brush. I have my water pen, and then I have another brush, and then I have my napkins. Now, the first thing I want to do is I want to peel the extra backings off of my napkin. So I just attach a piece of tape, and it peels right off, because all you want to work with is that one main piece of napkin. The rest of this is just, it won't work. So I peel that off, and I'm going to get rid of that. So I'm trying to decide between this image here without the bird, I would come across here, and the black image. So I'm going to take my water pen first, and I'm just going to, this is the best way to get a nice clean separation with your napkin, is to take your water pen and just go right along the edge of where you would like to have your image come. And then you don't have straight lines, because when you rip, it will literally just rip right along that water line. So it's really awesome. And then I just have this straight line over here, which I can put along the bottom. Actually, I love that. For ease of time, we're going with it, friends. Okay, I like it. So all I do in order to do this is I take my decoupage glue, and I literally just basically apply glue mostly in the area where that image is going to be. And then I carefully lay it down. And if I didn't go far enough, I get right back underneath of it. And now all you do is you basically start in the center, and you just go out to the edges with a very light, careful hand, adhering that right into place. And you want to use a nice light touch, because you don't want that napkin to tear. It's fixable. Yes, it is fixable if you do tear it, but it's kind of a pain. So it's just easier to proceed with caution. And so, yeah, so this is how I create my envelopes. That I put in my journals. Pretty easy process. And I actually, this process, I actually saw from Andrea Allen at Artie Mays. She was the first person I saw do envelopes like this, and I also own one of her handmade journals, and I will covet it for as long as I live. I may even be buried with it if I die, or not if I die, because I'm going to die someday, friends. I mean, you know, let's just be real. I might be buried with it, because I just love it that much. Okay, so there is that image on our envelope. And now to see if I want another image, like I may want like one of these butterflies. They're gorgeous. And so I'm thinking I may go with a butterfly here on the flap. And again, you carefully tear so as not to rip your image. There. Remove any excess. And I just feel like if I lay this right in here on the flap, I like it. So I'm just going to do it. So that's going to be kind of right here along the bottom. And I want that straight edge to be off of my envelope because I'm going to get rid of it. I don't want a straight edge on any of my paper. So I'm just going to... And normally you want a white napkin when you're decoupaging because that white blends seamlessly into white paper or whatever. But this cream background, the cream background on this napkin works perfectly because of the colors of our paper with the greens and the coffee dye and everything that we've added. It absolutely works perfectly on this envelope. So that is one more reason why I chose it. Okay. So then that would be the front. This will be our back. Do we want anything across the back? So we could take like our ring of, or even maybe we'll just take these two little flutterbys here. And use them on our back. Decoupaging to me is like so soothing. Well, when we put it together like this, I kind of feel like I want these butterflies running this way. So that's how we're going to decoupage them on there. We are going to run them this way. Like so. Okay. And Okay, that's our decoupage. I'm going to dry this, and then I'm going to show you how I'm going to finish this envelope. So bear with me. I'll be right back. Okay, so I have dried off those images, and then I have taken it another step further, guys, and I have taken a nail file, and I actually just lightly go over the image, and that removes any bumps, any bulges, anything like that, and it actually makes that image feel almost like it's part of the paper. I am not going to show that to you because the sound of it is like the worst thing ever in my ear. So I don't want to hurt anybody else's ear with that. Like I literally can't hardly even stand it. So anyway, but I do lightly sand over those images, and then it just gives it another layer of distressed feel and texture and everything, but they look seamless with that paper, and I love how this turned out. So then I go one step further, and I forgot to find a stamp. So hold on, I'm gonna pause you while I go look for a stamp. Hang on. Okay, friends, I found a Jamaica stamp here. And I'm just gonna put that up here in the corner. Because remember, it's an envelope. This is like, we want to make this as authentic as, you know, you choose. So I found a little Jamaica stamp. And then we are going to go ahead and we are going to just stamp we need our little postmark here, and then we've got our little hand cancel mark. We need to make sure that goes through our stamp, and we can put a little bit up over here just like it, you know, because nothing's perfect. And then I always like to add a couple other little stamps along the way here. This is we're going to make it a priority over here. And across the back, it's going to be confidential. Because we have no idea what our friends may have written inside of this envelope. So we are going to have confidential and priority and maybe a little registered first class over here. There we go. All right, so that, my friends, is going to be our envelope. So this is going to be the back. This is the front. Like, I'm so in love with that. I can hardly stand it. And then I'm actually going to have this be the center of our signature. I mean, come on, how beautiful is this going to be? And so I am not going to close this up until I am ready to sew in the signatures, because I am going to sew it in here, and then we'll fold it up. And this is going to, I'm actually going to go like this. So it'll sew in here. This will flip up. It's going to hide all of our stitching. And then we're going to have, I'm going to leave it open so then you could put something inside. And this is going to be our beautiful center of our signature. So I am super happy with how that turned out. And I hope that you guys enjoyed that quick little tutorial. This is a longer video than I had hoped. But anyway, I'm going to get out of here. So until the next time, guys, I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for being a part of my channel. Make time to craft. And until the next time, y'all, be well. And I will see you in the next video. Take care, friends. Bye-bye.